Hey, welcome to Bluejay Banter postgame. We are live at Let It Fly, a packed house tonight for Creighton, UCONN, and Nebraska Rutgers, and Supernovas volleyball. We got all kinds of things going here at Let It Fly. Make sure you check them out, letitfly.com. Tim Kruger tonight, joined with my buddy Jerry Lampy, filling in for Josh and Ross. I don't think they wanted to be here tonight, Jerry.
Probably didn't want to get out of the house. Didn't want to be down here.
I don't blame them.
Yep, it wasn't pretty
performance.
tonight. Yeah, not good. Oof. Definitely not good.
I want to give a shout out to our sponsors, Care Miners Home Healthcare, Equitable Bank, and Godfather's Pizza. If you're watching on YouTube, thank you very much. Make sure you hit that subscribe and like button. It helps us out a ton. We've been growing each and every show, so let's keep it rolling as well. And make sure you use that chat feature down the bottom. In a little bit, Zach Weaver, our wonderful, who's been one of the wonderful producers here. Tonight's his last night. He hasn't stepped in here yet. Don't tell anybody. But we got a little surprise for him later on. So, but Zach will be handling the chat as soon as he comes in. So use that chat, and we'll be happy to answer your questions, to read your comments to everyone, and I'm sure everybody's got a lot to say about tonight. Where are we going to start? I guess turnovers. You can't play like you're totally rattled, especially in the first 20 minutes like we did tonight. Yeah,
we looked out of whack on offense. We looked rushed. We looked scared. We were, just didn't get any offensive flow. UConn was cutting off the passing lanes. We didn't seem to make them pay by backdooring any backdoor passes. I think UConn's plan was to run us off the three-point line, make it hard for Trey and be able to get shots, and they succeeded, man.
Well, I think they saw a couple things. One, they saw other teams be physical with us.
Oh, yeah.
So they were going to do that. Number two, they were going to be physical and run us off the line at the same time, right?
Yep, and they did.
And that was successful. However, like you and I commented, I think 4 minutes into the game, that back door was there all night long.
Yep.
We missed Kalkbrenner on a million screens. I think I saw Tyler McKinney, former Creighton point guard, tweet out, too, that our screens, we weren't setting screens with any kind of effort and intensity and physicality. And UConn was just able to go right through our screens. He goes, on the opposite end, they were nailing us every time. And we were having, even though we were really fighting hard to get over the top of those screens, we weren't able to do it because those screens were set so well.
Now, Newton was able to get it come off the high ball screen, and Trey was chasing him, but their screens were set with a lot more physicality than the Creighton screens were. And again, I just thought we looked rattled from opening tip. UConn definitely got in our face, ran us off three-point line, and we just never adjusted. And until you can make them pay for overcharging the passing lanes and stuff, they're just going to keep doing it. It's going to keep growing the pressure. And like I said, it was not good. If you told me going into the game, Tim, UConn would shoot 36% from the field and 32% from three-point line, I thought we'd have an excellent chance. But when you give up 18 offensive rebounds and turn the ball over 14 times, you're not going to beat anybody, no matter how bad they shoot.
And it's just it's got to be hugely disappointing to Mac. I mean, I was at practice on Monday, and they were working so hard on the rebounding aspect. They were working, number one, they worked hard on driving to the hole and getting hit. And I think we saw that right off the get-go. Steven went in, he's had trouble. He went in and got clobbered and still made the layup.
Right.
So that part of it I think was better. But they worked hard on the rebounding aspect of everybody's got a box out and you got to go to the ball. How many times did we see the ball hit the floor tonight?
Right.
How many times did we see the shooter come and get the rebound?
Right.
That's just inexcusable basketball.
Yep. Tristan Newton was their leading offensive rebounder. He's their guard. And several times he took the shot and actually got his own rebound. That just can't happen. You can't have a guard lead the team in offensive rebounds. That just killed us.
I just don't know. Yeah, I would love to know what the philosophy was there. Like, what did Max say to them? What did he, what was going on in the huddles and halftime? Because I can't believe he was very pleased about that.
No.
I mean, it's something they worked on, and I don't understand. These are veteran players, why it's not getting through to them.
Yeah. I think we did an excellent job on keeping Carban and Spencer in line. Each of them only had 1 3-pointer.
Carban had a decent night, but not like
he didn't light it up.
Not like he's had.
My biggest fear going is
Spencer was really good in the first half.
My biggest fear was they would start lighting it up from the outside, shoot the lights out, run us out of the gym. We actually did a pretty good job keeping them in check defensively. They didn't, but we just got killed on the boards, and our turnovers were bad, and we just looked out of whack on offense all night long. So
and the offense has been kind of a trend throughout the season. We've had spells where we haven't looked good on the offensive end, and I think we've just got to look better. We've got to do a better job of that, I guess, overall.
I think teams are their focus is going to be run Creighton off the three-point line, force them to score in other ways, and it was successful tonight.
And be very physical with Trey, because Trey doesn't seem to handle it. Trey is having a hard time seeing people after the double team comes. He can't see them quickly enough to get the pass off.
Yeah, and that's part of being a point guard. You've got to see the whole floor. You got to distribute the ball, and Trey's trying to play more point guard this year, but again, the most key important of a guy playing point guard is be able to see the floor, see plays before they develop. And, maybe Trey's struggling with that. So
yeah. The other thing, too, is, Steven, like I said, made that and one, hit a three early. He was off and had a couple, quote-unquote, defensive stops where we got a turnover. I thought he was off to one of his better nights, and then he got in foul trouble and had to sit pretty much the whole first half. Then he came in the second half, had limited success, threw up that 1-3 he throws up every game where we go, what? And then he had a couple of turnovers, but all those turnovers were pretty good tonight. But then he came on late and ended up being our leading scorer.
Yeah, he was about the only guy who could kind of nod and had an okay game.
Yeah.
I mean, they I think Baylor and Trey both just had 2 points at halftime. I mean, UConn, I think that was their key to their game. We're going to stop, Trey and Baylor and make the other guys beat us, and they did a good job of that.
Yeah.
So.
And Trey just I don't know what's going on there. He can't score at the bucket anymore.
Well, they're playing him physical, and he's getting bumped some, but you got to play through physicality, man. You take the ball down low in the Big East, you're gonna face some contact, and you're gonna have to score through that contact. And not had a rough game tonight for sure. So
yeah. As I said, make sure you use that chat feature. Zach will pull it up on his phone and just give us those chats when they come through. If you can, Zach, just shout those out to us. And, there we got pulled up. Thank you very much. And, first of all, we got Brandon. He said, we got out-hustled, out-physicaled, out-toughed once again. Team looking soft, 21 offensive rebounds, embarrassing. Need to emphasize having better athletes in the future. A couple points there. Number one, totally agree with him on the out-hustle. A lot of it was just hustle. UConn wanted it more.
Yep.
That's simple said.
Yep. They jumped in the passing lanes. They beat us to the board on the offensive end. There's nothing I can disagree with that statement.
And I think you had a great point late in the second half when we kind of made a run. We cut it 20 down to 10. You go, they just got to steal 45 feet from the basket on a pass.
Oh, yeah. You can't, when they're pressuring you from 45 feet out, you got to make them pay. You got to backdoor them. You can't let them jump passing lanes 45 feet from the bucket. You can't get your offense started.
It happened
45 feet from the hole.
All night long it happened, and they did not adjust. Brandon also said final score doesn't reflect the game. The game was more like a 30-point blowout. That's what we were saying through the game. I remember in the first half, we were like, can you believe we're only down 6 here?
Right.
It felt like
the reason it wasn't
20.
a 30-point blowout was UConn didn't shoot the ball that good. They shot at 35%. Most of the time when teams shoot 35%, you either get blown out or you lose by a few points or win by a few points. But again, Creighton gave up 18 offensive rebounds and turned the ball over 14 times. That's why it didn't reflect. Because UConn didn't shoot it good.
And I'll say this. I think for the most part, we did a pretty good job defensively.
Yeah, we did. We didn't let Carban get off. We didn't. Spencer, we kind of.
Spencer went nuts in the first half.
Yeah, the first half. But 13 points and 13 points is not a lot. Again, we didn't let them get going from the three-point line. I think Castle took a lot of shots, and he's not their best shooter. But again, it was offensive rebounds.
We did a good job of just backing off him. But the problem I saw with that too is Baylor was on him sometimes, and he was backing off. Well, you just can't back off and just stand there. You've got to be active. You got to anticipate where that ball's going, so you're like a second defender.
Yeah, you've got to be helping out other guys.
We were just like, it was just too easy sometimes.
Yep.
That was a problem. Our good friend Martin, who's been, I think, with us almost every show, he said, what a lack of effort rebounding on and on the offensive end. You know, rebounding is probably, I don't know if I can put a number on it, but it's at least 60% effort.
Right.
That's all it is.
I mean, you saw UConn hit the boards early. Any missed shot, those guys were flying at the bucket. Creighton didn't have that, and unless you match their intensity, you know, you're not. You know, UConn just beat us on the glass, and it's not like UConn's some great rebounding team. I mean, they just out hustled us tonight. So.
Oh, we got Ryan joining us from Nashville. He said, need to open up a Let It Fly in Nashville. Well, there's one in Memphis, so you got one in the state anyway, but there you go.
I hear there's a lot of bars in Nashville already, so I don't know if they can compete. So any of my buddies go down, that's all they do.
There might be a couple in Nashville. Yeah. But anyway, let's get to, Jerry mentioned this earlier. He goes, what are we going to do here? Unsung hero. I guess this year we've kind of been, I mean, Steven was the star tonight, I guess you would say. I don't know.
We didn't
Can you
really
think
get
of
anybody
anybody else did?
It was bad.
I mean, this is something we commented on too. I kind of felt like they put Mason, like he kind of got benched for a big chunk of the time.
Mm-hmm. Well, he made a bad pass on the baseline. He drove the baseline.
Right, which I don't like him driving the baseline, but he's done it.
We talked on that 3-on-1 break they had in the first half. Instead of getting a layup, Mason runs to the three-point line and bricks one up between the rim and the backboard.
Yeah, he didn't look like he was comfortable at all.
Yeah, that was when you get a 3-on-1 break, you probably should take the 2 points and not. I know we like to shoot the three, but when you take a three-pointer with a 3-on-1 and it about sticks between the rim and the backboard, that's not a good look.
That should have been an easy 2 points because we had the floor space beautifully.
Yep.
And we had the right guy bringing it down.
Yep.
Yeah. There should have been one pass to the wing, then one pass back to Baylor, and he could have laid it in.
Exactly. Yeah.
It could have been that simple. We just haven't seen, I guess, this year, to their defense, we haven't seen a, 3-on-1 break hardly at all. You know?
No.
Welcome to the show. If you're just joining, make sure you hit that subscribe button and then use the chat down below. Brandon jumps back in and says, I think Creighton has to settle for a top 4 finish. UConn is levels above right now. I mean, we made them look way better than they are tonight.
Yeah.
And you and I were even commenting, we could have seen UConn get beat tonight.
Oh, yeah. Anytime a team only shoots 35%, they're beatable.
If you just handled the boards, didn't turn it over, that's what probably, I don't know, conservatively saying probably 15 more possessions
without
tonight.
a doubt. Yeah, it was.
So if you just shoot 30% on those, that's 10 more points. There you go. That almost eats up the margin of the game.
Yeah. Sometimes when you lose, you have to tip your hat to the other team. They shoot it great from the outside. They play great. I didn't feel that was the way. I thought Creighton just didn't play good. UConn was beatable tonight at home, but their intensity made up for their lack of shooting.
Sure. So, and that's what I think Creighton's got to, I'd say learn, but these are veteran players. Like they should already know that, but the intensity's got to be ratcheted up to take care of those games when you don't shoot well. And, we got another tough road game coming up Saturday at Seton Hall. So they've got to be ready for that.
Yeah.
Ryan also mentioned Fred might not be the answer next year. We need to hit the portal for a big guy. I think I've been saying all along, that's kind of the plan. They want to go to the portal and get another big guy. And I think they would probably like, I'm not saying a guy of this talent, but a Hunter Dickinson guy who can step out, hit a three, still be physical enough inside. Look, those guys don't fall off trees.
No.
I get that. Okay.
Right.
But somebody like that, the dude that plays for Iowa, Cricky, is that it? The guy from Valpo?
From Valpo, right.
Yeah. He's not physical like Hunter, but he's the kind of guy who causes mismatch problems when you bring him in off the bench.
Right.
I don't, people are talking about the future aspirations of some of our players that they don't look like maybe they can make it at that next level. So who knows what the roster will look like, right?
I really don't see, first-round NBA guy. I mean, obviously you got to learn to play through contact. NBA, if you watch an NBA game, there's a lot of contact. They're not calling fouls and winning the free throw contest. So part of playing in NBA is you got to play through contact. Those dudes are big and physical. I mean, go watch an NBA game. And you got to be ready. And one of the hardest things to do is get a roster spot in an NBA team. That's for sure. And if you don't do that, then you're playing in the G League making $40,000 a year, and that's not an optimal lifestyle, I don't think either.
Yeah. So one thing we've done this year with Unsung Heroes, we pulled out parts of the game. So what I'm going to do is pull out Steven's ability to finish. He got 2 and 1s tonight.
Yeah, he was the only guy who took it to the hole, really. Yeah.
So let's give it to him as the Unsung Hero. And that's sponsored by Care Miners Home Healthcare, our title sponsor. Huge Jays fan. Want to thank them so much for being the title sponsor of our show. Jim over there, big Jays fan. And, he made a good point. He said, people don't need us until it's time. And, and then it's too late. Then they don't know what we have. So his goal is he's hoping that people go to their website, which is careminersnebraska.com, and check out everything they have to offer. And that way, you'll know ahead of time when you need that care for a loved one or somebody who's a senior loved one who you need care for. And like we're talking last show, with this cold weather, wouldn't it ease your peace of mind if you knew somebody was taking care of them in this weather? So give them a call today, 402-532-1383, or go to careminersnebraska.com. Worst call of the game, I had one, and this is sponsored by Godfather's Pizza. I thought the one they called a tie-up on the caulk, he got hammered. I don't know what that was.
Two big guys going at it. I would say when Trey got an offensive foul call, taking it to the hole.
That was horrible.
Spencer was riding him the whole way. He's creating contact. Trey maybe sticks his shoulder in a little bit, but not much. That should have been a play on. I don't know. The guy from the outside made the call. I thought it was a bad call.
And I think that was a 5-point turnaround because we missed 3 there, and they made 2 on the other end.
Right. I mean, Trey made the shot. I mean, they called an offensive foul. I don't like that when defensive guy's riding you down the lane and he's initiating a lot of contact to give the foul on the offensive guy, unless he totally dips his shoulder. And I didn't think Trey dipped his shoulder that much. And I thought Spencer probably created more of that contact than Trey did. But anyway.
Yeah. I totally agree. And I got to tell you, I'm surprised Hurley didn't go ballistic and he kind of held it together. But I was so glad to see an official call an offensive foul when the guy kicked his leg out tonight.
Oh, yeah, I saw that on a 3. That's the old trick where you stick your legs out when a guy's trying to block the shot and it makes it look like he fouled. But, credit the ref for making that call. You don't see that called a lot because a lot of guys don't look at that. But that's a play that some players do when they take a 3, stick their legs out because they're trying to draw the foul when the guy's trying to kind of get in their way and kind of distract the shot. So.
Yeah, I hope they do that more, and then that will deter people from sticking their leg out. The other one was, there was, I don't know. I mean, it's so hard when the game starts out physical. Mm-hmm. Then you can't then back it up and start calling everything. Sure. And they didn't.
No.
So, I mean, Trey got some contact, but
you're going to get that, man.
I mean, they were ready for it. So I don't know what it is. But Godfather's Pizza sponsors our segment. Hey, they've got pizza pie loaded with fresh mozzarella, abundantly topped with the best toppings around. Order online at godfathers.com today or stop in at your nearest location. They have feasts to feed your whole family, including, besides pizza, wings, cheese sticks, desserts, and more. It's pizza you can't refuse. It's Godfather's Pizza. Go to godfathers.com. We got more nasty weather coming in this weekend, so it'd be a great time to go to Godfather's or to have a pizza delivered to your house. The Rutgers Scarlet Knights take down Nebraska.
End up winning,
They came back two different times. Speaking of coming back, I'll tell you, knocked me over the feather. I didn't think Creighton would be able to come back. They were down 20. I thought that this is just going to escalate.
Yeah.
They actually came back at one point, 10. I think they were down 10 and had the ball. Mm-hmm. They could have made that a tough, tight game.
Yeah.
A couple things I think Steven had a 3 go in and out. I think they turned it over another time. You know, that's 6 points right there potentially.
Again, UConn scored 62. It wasn't like they lit, like I said, it wasn't like they lit it up.
Right.
So I think we just had a few possessions where we didn't turn it over, and UConn didn't get an offensive rebound, and we were able to close the gap. If we would have done more of that, like I said, it'd been a lot closer game. And I think that's the disappointing part of it. It wasn't like UConn played good and you tipped your hat to them. Creighton just, you know, they failed in getting offensive rebounds. They failed, you know, handling the ball again, and that's the disappointing part about this game.
We've had way too many turnovers in way too many games, and I don't mean to pick on one guy, but Trey's racking up 3, 4, 5 every single game.
He's handling the ball a lot more, but he's drawing a lot more focus on the defense. I thought UConn was like, we're going to play him physical. I think a lot of teams you're going to see now, they're going to bump and push Trey when he's got the ball and he's taking it down the lane. He's going to have to be able to fight through that because, I mean, you know, he's getting contact. He's handling the ball a lot. And, you know, if you get contact, you're going to have to be strong with the ball. And you said when he turns it over, that hurts. So.
I'm surprised that's part of his development they haven't worked on. Like, once he's getting the physicality and getting the double team, to be able to move the ball. And he just seems, the ball just gets stuck. Like he's already turning it over X amount of times. I don't see the problem with trying to make one of those passes.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, because it doesn't have to be that accurate. Like, there was times where Kalk, and I think another time Baylor was wide open. I mean, just get the ball somewhere in the vicinity, they're able to grab it.
Yeah, and I don't think Trey's a selfish player by any means.
No, he's not selfish. I just don't think he seems scared to want to make that pass.
Right. Yeah, and he's drawn a lot of attention for. I mean, when teams are game planning, I mean, I'm sure Trey Alexander's the number one guy they're focusing on trying to stop. So
Brandon, kind of on our point with Kalk. Kalk was disappointed tonight. I don't know what's going on. What do you guys think?
I don't know. I mean, maybe I don't know if the minutes are adding up. I don't know if he's trying not to get in foul trouble. You still got to be aggressive going for the basketball, and maybe he's playing too careful, not trying to get a silly foul where he picks up 2 fouls in the first half. He's got to come out. I don't know, but he probably needs to be a little bit more aggressive going for the ball. You know, you don't want to make fouls, but you know. There was a time when Creighton
only hit the ground.
Right. No, you got to get after it. I mean, you know, UConn was aggressive on the boards, and if you don't match their aggressiveness, you said you're going to end up giving up 18 offensive rebounds, and that's what Creighton had tonight. So. Yeah.
And then Ryan says, so Trey could come back next year. I said, actually, he could.
He can come back.
Yeah. I mean, he's only junior, I should say.
Again, that's going to be up to Trey at the end of the season. Yeah. He'll have to make that evaluation. Obviously, he did it last year. He'll have to he'll have to make that's his decision to make. I mean, obviously, the Bluejay fan, you'd probably like to see him come back. But it's going to be his decision. Go through the evaluation and, see if he's going to be a first, second rounder. I don't know. So.
Yeah. Getting back to something I think Brandon said earlier, we need to emphasize having better athletes in the future. And we kind of discussed this, you and I, during the game. There's maybe one, Castle obviously is an athletic freak for them. But other than that, I wouldn't say they're enormously athletic.
No.
Now they just bust their tails
and hustle. They played hard, man. They play hard,
which was the difference tonight. But to your point, Brendan, yes, we've got a guy by the name of Larry Johnson coming in next year that's going to look a lot like Castle, frankly, with that athleticism. So they've already recruited to that. I think Jackson McAndrews, I don't think he's what you would say uber athletic, but he has some athleticism to him, and he's a big guy who can play the wing, play the 4 spot, can really shoot it. Going to be like something. That was one thing I didn't like tonight, speaking of those 4 spot. I mean, Trout has really shrunk his minutes here lately because we didn't feel the matchups are right, and I get that. I thought tonight he maybe could have got a little more run with Caravan because when he was out there, I didn't think he did a horrible job.
No.
And I didn't like that. And I get that we're trying to work Jason Green in, but he's shown in the times that we've given him. We gave him some run the last game, and it didn't work out well at all. We've shown the times we've given him he's really not ready yet, especially on the offensive end. I just would have loved to have give those minutes to Trout tonight when it was kind of quote-unquote garbage time. Let him get more accustomed to the quickness, to the physicality, to the pressure on the offensive end, and let him get accustomed to that and get comfortable with that.
Yeah. I mean, you got to realize too, he's only a freshman.
Right.
So he's still young. He got a big body. I mean, he's got a good size on him. He can shoot the three good. He's just going to learn the game. I mean, obviously, where he's playing now is a lot quicker and a lot more athletic than playing in Grand Island, Nebraska. So he's going to have to adjust to that. But getting more minutes, I think he's going to be a really good player for us. But, he's only a freshman. But, yeah, he could definitely use some more minutes. And he is a threat out there because he can make a three.
Yes.
He's got a big body. He can rebound, But, yeah, his minutes have shrunk.
And my point being that we kind of expect to rely on him, right, down the stretch. I think we can't just – I know Faribault's kind of been Mac's security blanket, but, man, tonight he was awful.
Yeah, he made some – you don't expect him to make turnovers in key times, being a fifth-year senior.
And get blown by a defense a few times. I mean –
he did hit an open three. He didn't make a drive to the basket in the first half. Like we said, the lane was wide open. He drove in and nobody was there because everybody was guarding the three-point perimeter.
Exactly.
But sometimes Francisco sometimes gets a little tentative out there. I mean, he's a veteran player, but he can get a little tentative. It seems like when he misses a shot or turns it over, he kind of gets a little nervous. But, yeah, I mean, Mac's a coach. He's going to play the guys he feels comfortable with. I do think Isaac's going to be a good player. He's got size and can shoot a three. But, just going to have to adjust to the speed of the game.
Here's a good comment. Athleticism isn't the issue, it's body type. What do you think about that?
Body type? What do you mean?
I don't know what they mean.
Yeah, I don't know what they mean.
Maybe they mean that, like, for instance, Mason needs to add some weight.
Yeah. You can say that about every Creighton guy.
Kalk, I don't know that Kalk put on more weight.
I don't think he did.
Well, he put on more weight. He just didn't get any stronger. You can put on weight and not get stronger.
Right.
I don't think he just doesn't have the aggressiveness and toughness down there for a guy like Carabin. Like we saw tonight, too, with Fred King in there. I mean, Fred's a big guy.
Yeah, he just got pushed
Carabin just got shoved around.
Yeah.
He just got shoved around by Klingon.
Yep.
So, yeah, I see a little bit of what he's saying. Our guy off the bench is Faribault. Now, Faribault has kind of been playing some quote-unquote point.
Right.
But we've tried to put him at the three at times, and I think he gets mismatched and so forth.
Your guarding guy's a lot bigger and quicker than you are, so makes it tough in basketball if you're playing a guy that's quicker and taller and stronger than you. So
I know Ashworth was kind of everybody's punching bag earlier on, but I got to tell you, for as undersized as he is, he's starting to hold his own on the defense end. Like he did a pretty good job with Spencer at times tonight.
You've got to, I think Stevens played a little more physical. Obviously teams are going to try to back him down. I didn't see that much tonight where they try to isolate the floor and back Ashworth down. They got him listed as 6'1". I think he's 5'10". But you've got to push back a little bit. Because he's smaller, I think he's got to play a little more physical. You know what? If you get a bump and foul, you get one. Again, I know Mac doesn't like to foul, but sometimes you've got to be physical. Otherwise, teams are just going to push you around. And I think maybe that's what happened to Creighton tonight a little bit.
He says then he had to comment after I mentioned it. Yes, every CU guy. Well, that's crazy. That's, every CU guy doesn't have a bad body type. There's nothing wrong with Trey's body at 6'3" and a guard.
No.
There's not really for Ashworth's size. He's 6'1", though. I've stood next to him.
He's 6'1"? Okay.
Yeah,
I guess he doesn't look it on the court.
No, he doesn't, but he's 6'1".
Okay.
Ashworth's probably at 6'1", probably what you want. Kalk's probably, Klingon didn't look that much bigger than him, really.
No, than Kalk? No, that's taller. Klingon looked stronger, though. When he took the ball to hold, there was
He's stronger.
Flying,
right. But that's just, that's just like emphasizing the wrong. Kalk looks slow to me this year, a little bit slow. Not being able to make that decision that quickly.
Yeah.
Somebody says, I wish we had Stephen Castle type. I mean, like I said, that's kind of the type of Larry.
Everybody would like to have a Stephen Castle type.
That's why he was a 5-star, one of the top recruits in the country.
Yeah.
That's like saying, geez, I wish we had LeBron.
Yeah.
But, yeah, like I said, we've got a Larry Johnson that's coming in next year that's that kind of a player. Let's move to opponent preview. It's sponsored by Equibank. We take banking personally. They've been around since 1882, 2 great locations, one on Pierce Street in Elkhorn, and then just north of the Schwab headquarters. They take the headache away from banking. They have personal checking made easy. So if you're looking for a bank, this is the place to go. Their customer service is out of this world. They're the Bank of Bluejay Banter. I deal with them often, and they are fabulous, either on the phone or in person. They jump up, take care of your needs immediately. So check them out today. That's equitablebank.com. We take banking personally, and they do answer the phone on the first ring. So this is going to be a big job for Mac to get this team ready.
Yeah, Seton Hall's playing good right now. Seton Hall beat UConn by 15. Of course, that was at Seton Hall. But so you saw what happened tonight. So it's gonna, and they're not the same as UConn, but they're gonna get out and they're gonna get in our grill and they're gonna challenge passing lanes. They're gonna try to run us off the 3-point line. So I think you're gonna see a lot of what you saw. Now I don't think Seton Hall is as big as UConn. I don't think Seton Hall shoots the ball as good as UConn. But they're going to try to do the same thing on defense that UConn did.
They don't have a Spencer and they don't have a Caravan.
Right.
Dawes is a good shooter, but I was looking at their stats too. Dawes is 36% for threes, their best 3-point shooter.
So they're not a great shooting team.
Only 33 as a team.
Again, but I think the key is with Seton Hall, you can't let them get offensive rebounds. You can't turn it over and get them easy buckets.
Because that's what they live off of.
They
that
do.
Kind of stuff. Yeah.
They do. They play aggressive on defense. They play a lot of guys, which seems to be Holiday's MO. You play a lot of guys. You play aggressive on defense. A couple of guys get in foul trouble, so be it. We're going to get out. We're going to get in your face. We're going to try to turn you over. We're trying to beat you on the board. So a lot of what you saw tonight is what's going to carry over. Now, obviously, Seton Hall is not as good as UConn. Now they beat him, by double digits. But it's going to be a challenge. But I expect Creighton to come out a little bit. But they're going to watch that film, and I think they'll be a little bit embarrassed about how they got killed on the boards and some of their turnovers. So you hope they come out Saturday, I think,
Saturday at 11.
Saturday at 11. You hope they come out focused on getting that defensive rebound, focused on not turning it over as much, because that's what Seton Hall is going to do. Now, if we can make this a shooting contest, we're a lot better shooting team than Seton Hall.
Oh,
but if
definitely.
we turn it over 20 times and we give up 20 offensive rebounds, we're probably going to get beat. So,
yeah.
And that's what Seton Hall is going to try to do.
Would you say, if I made this statement, I think we will find out, we could almost predict the rest of the season by what happens Saturday. Probably. And I'm not saying win or lose. I'm just saying the way we play.
Probably.
If we come out again with an effort like tonight, and I'm not saying the guys weren't trying, but we just didn't play well. We didn't make very smart decisions out there. If we do that Saturday again, turn it over a lot, like you said, give up offensive rebounds, then I think the ship might have sailed on this team. Seriously, I don't see how we recover from that.
Yeah. You hope not. I mean, it's a long season, but yeah, we definitely need to win. I mean, I'm just thankful we won St. John's. I'm thankful Jenkins didn't hit that little 15-foot jumper, and we would have lost that game and lose to UConn. We're still in pretty good shape. Obviously, I think UConn's a heavy favorite to win the conference, but I still think second place is open. I don't think Marquette is playing that great right now.
Right. So you got to remember, Marquette already has 3 losses.
Right.
We have 3 losses.
Right.
We haven't lost. I thought we'd lose 4 road games. I thought we'd lose at UConn, at Marquette, which we did, at Providence, but that was before the injury.
Right.
Okay. So that's one we might be able to get back.
Right. Sneak back.
And at Villanova. I didn't include Seton Hall in that thing. So if we can win at Seton Hall, we would stay pretty much on track of where we have to be.
Right.
Is 5 losses still going to be able to win the conference? Maybe not. I don't know. But UConn's got a lot of tough games.
They do.
That's with Seton Hall's schedule now. They play us at home. Then they have Providence at home again. So they play 3 home games in a row. Then they go at Marquette. Then they play DePaul and Georgetown. So you're looking at a team that could be sitting at somewhere 10-2.
Right.
But then they go through a stretch where they play Nova, Xavier, at St. John's, Butler, at Creighton, at UConn, back-to-back, and then Nova.
Right.
So they have Nova twice yet. They have to go to UConn. They have to go to Creighton. They have to go to St. John's. So, yeah, that's a much tougher stretch than, say, Creighton has right now.
Yeah.
Creighton's only got to go to Nova. And that's it of the top teams. St. John's. Got to go to St. John's.
Will be tough,
now that game will be at the Garden, so it'll be a little different. But yeah.
But also too, Seton Hall put it on St. John's last night. Now,
they did.
They went on a 20-0 run there, I think, in the first half and started the second half.
But let's face it, why is St. John's different this year?
They're a better coach.
Rick Pitino. Rick Pitino wasn't there last night.
That's true.
I'm just saying. I
don't think Rick would let him go on a 20-0 run. He'd probably called 6 timeouts.
Yeah, I mean that's a huge. When I saw that, I'm like, oh, this is not going to go well for St. John's.
Right.
And it's nothing against their staff. It's just that Rick Pitino is such a figure and just knows the game inside and out.
Rick Pitino says something. The players are going to listen. Assistant coach, kind of, they may listen to it. They may not. But yeah.
But like Jerry said, it's 11 a.m. tip. It is on the road. It's on FS1. And at the same time, Marquette and UCONN? Saturday?
I don't know. I haven't looked at the schedule. Is it Marquette? Is it UCONN at Marquette? Or?
I know Marquette's the noon game on Fox. Is it Marquette or St. John's? One of those two. At any rate. It's Marquette. I'm trying to say is it UConn or is it UConn or St. John's? I think it's St. John's. But at any rate, that game's on Big Fox at the same time as the Creighton game. So I got a plan for you. Come on down here to Let It Fly. You can watch both games on enormous screens and check it all out at once and watch both games.
It's going to be cold out, so yeah.
There you go. Come in here. It's always nice and warm. It's always nice and warm and Let It Fly. Right. That's what I like. Yep. We want to thank everybody that's watched, but before we do, get in here, buddy. Get in here. Get in here. All right. I think most of you that's watched any of our shows over the last couple of years know about Zach. He's been an awesome producer for us. We couldn't have found a better guy. Zach is leaving us. He's moving out to Portlandia.
Wow.
He's going to be on the show every week, right?
I could try.
See if Fred Armistead will let you be on the show.
Yeah.
If you run into him. And he's on to bigger and better things. So we want to thank Zach for everything he did. Let's give Zach a big round of applause. Huge crowd here tonight, by the way.
Yep.
Thanks so much. I know you're starting to pack up now. You're heading out this weekend, and you're getting out of this damn weather. Good for you.
I'm glad it all hit before I left.
And then you're going to get out there, and it's only going to rain for like 4 months in a row.
It's not going to snow, right?
I can take that. I texted Tim. The reason I was late, I was walking out to my car. My neighbor's dog ran up to me, and I immediately just slipped flat on the ice in my driveway, and my neighbor was like, "Oh my God, are you okay?" I was like, "I'm fine."
So you're on your driveway.
Yeah.
So now are you going to sue your neighbor?
No.
Before you leave?
No.
Because that would be what people do nowadays.
No, right. I can't do that to them. They're good people.
Yeah. There you go. See, that's good. See, you've already got the Portland way of life going.
Is that it?
This is good. This is good. Yeah, they're all friendly out there.
How you gonna follow the Creighton out? I know you're a huge fan and been a fan for a long time. So.
Just however I can on TV, typically.
But he's still gonna he's one of our moderators at bluejaybanter.com on the message board. He's still gonna do that.
Yeah.
He's actually gonna do some writing for us too. So it's gonna be awesome. Yep. So he's still gonna stay very much involved. Yeah, he's gonna keep me in line. So he's still gonna be able to do that from Portland.
Good luck.
Say hi to my wife's relatives when they come into your parents' shop.
I will.
That's all I'm gonna say.
I will.
And we really thank you for everything you've done.
Appreciate
we could not be where we are today without you starting out last year. So thank you very much, Zach. Best of luck. He'll be back. You're going to come back for games and stuff, right?
Yeah, I'll be back as long as it's not,
He's bailing on us now after we got beat tonight. He's like, this is it. This team's done. He's bailing.
Hey, this was before the Nebraska game.
So I'm trying to think. There's the closest one would be Spokane.
Yeah.
Where there's an NCAA game. So.
That's why I'm like, just join the Big East. Just join the Big East. Just join the Big East.
For Gonzaga?
Yeah.
That's still a pretty good haul from Portland, though. It's about 5-6 hours.
Yeah, but if it's a weekend game, I can take the train,
Oh, that's true. Go through the Dells.
Yeah.
Go through the Dells along the Columbia River.
Yeah, I'm excited.
That would be a beautiful trip, actually. If you've ever been there, go to the Columbia River Valley. It's beautiful.
I've been to Multnomah Falls. I don't know that I've been.
I've been there. Yeah, that's very nice.
Yeah.
Very nice. Do you know there's a town in Washington named George?
I did not.
Yes.
Seems a bit on the nose.
George Washington is the name of the town. Just a little trivia there for you kids.
Yep.
Thanks, Zach. We appreciate it. Thanks, everybody, for joining us. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. We'll be right back here after the game Saturday, so check in with us. Go Jays.